what's up, yins guys? Time for another video. Here's the video that I actually meant to make. The previous video I went ahead with because I was on a roll as far as explaining reverse psychology, and I'm literally telling you what this definition of a sovereign citizen, what they put out there and what you identify as, are two different things, and how everything has legit meanings. One is kind of legit, or anything they want to tell you it is, and there's the backwards version of the definition, and they, at their option, they can give you one definition and tell you what the legit definition is, and give you only that definition if they want to make somebody or something look bad. And we're not denying the bad version of that definition is out there, but when they put just that definition, and there's things interlaced in there that they don't want you to know. And you know damn well I'm going to tell you right now that I am editing the hell out of and splicing the hell out of this video, adding to this video through editing and splicing, because there's so much in it. But I'm going to bring up a lot of your cities where less police are coming and the police ain't coming, and they're allowing people to people are racing to have laws to prevent squatting, technicalities about squatting, and there's some shit that's common sense here that I could question, were there any technicalities or laws that they were allowing a lot of this crazy shit going on. Corrupt mayors and officials that were in with these this drug culture, and a lot of it involving illegal immigrants or whatever, and which also were their drug gangs moving in. Okay, this is relevant. Well, geez, what do you do when you're trying, when all this bullshit is literally dress rehearsal? Same way I said about protest culture of 2020 and all this shit about squatting you were hearing about, people being escorted by the police out of their own houses. Okay, it's dress rehearsal for narco-communism, and they don't want you to have your own sense of self-esteem. Yeah, bear with me here. Create a excuse, okay, why the police are not coming, and go and say in Canada, telling you to put the keys to your car right by the door rather than break in it, telling you don't defend yourself, saying that, oh, it's just too risky, you don't defend yourself, but we're not coming. Well, damn, that sounds to me like they want you to give everything over. Well, even years before all this shit, when this shit took over certain communities, and you know the police, they do shit whenever they feel like it. They make it as excuses. But okay, if they don't want you to have stuff. If they can't get you addicted to drugs so that you sell everything you have, so you give money to these drug dealers so they can drive cars and have gold chains, they have them take over towns or cities where you know, say it's okay to burglarize the houses of your own family members or your neighbors, right? And it's people will look at you like you're nuts, like, and roll your eyes like it's a conspiracy theory. They can't get you addicted to something to give up all your giving up your sovereignty is about giving up your property, everything you own. If they can't get you to sell all your stuff to buy dope, they want to usher in and dress rehearsal for a time where narco-communism come to your house and confiscate property. Walk right in, like Cambodia. Anybody will the killing fields of Cambodia, they'll kill you, murder you, kidnap your kids so they can be sold for sex trafficking or whatever, and inject them with drugs to get them addicted so they can be free-range prostitutes, whether they're boys or girls. People laugh and say you're crazy or schizo, but you can see it going on already. The UK killing itself. But anyway, that's what they want to eventually do. They gain total power and get politicians in that just give them all the drugs they want, let them do what they want, and criminalize you and legitimize all the junkies or whatever. They walk right up and no police come, and just, if you don't want to get addicted to any of that stuff, you don't got nothing protecting you, prevent you from defending yourself, walk right up and confiscate property. That's what it's all about. And even, decades upon decades, they were doing it by extortion, with their drugs or whatever. They got their gangs, their extortion, intimidations, threaten to hurt you and your family members if you can't move out. But they'll eventually get free range, just walk right up and confiscate property or whatever the hell, and tell you how it's going to be. But that's what they're starting out by doing anyway, by legitimizing all the junkies who don't want to change or whatever the hell, and gaslight you, saying you don't have no empathy. I mean, literally, if you want a junkie to change his ways or whatever, you're a bad person. And according to a very big diehard far left liberal, if you don't give your junkie relatives that don't want to change everything he asks for, give them all your money, keep bailing them out of jail or whatever, you're selfish and have no empathy. And even the so-called social workers and people who want to rehab the junkies, you notice a lot of them, not all of them, but they'll say you have no empathy and you're selfish. They're so into their job, let's say, they're so into their job, they hate everybody that's not addicted to something, because it's big business for them for everybody to be addicted. And if you were to corner some of these social workers, so-called social workers, about changing their ways, you'll get everything shot down. Everything you say will be shot down. Yeah, you actually, some of them, they'll practically admit that that they actually hate anybody that isn't addicted, because you know what? They're farmers too. That's all by design, if you think about it. The local badasses and the bootlickers for the local badasses who sell you their drugs so that they can go around in BMWs and gold chains or whatever the hell. They want to be both worshipped and feared at their convenience. And they would rather, some of them, if you're buying their drugs, of course they'll pretend to be your friends. And they eat that shit all up, that, oh yeah, they want you to think they're your liberators. They want to come to you as liberators and your friends. And they eat that shit up if, say, you do all kind of drugs, like all the local junkies out there. Oh yeah, I got the local badasses, the gangsters got my back. But if you're the opposite of that, they'd like to have you shot, beat up, say, no, we need to smoke his ass, and that's why you'll have the local junkies that are that'll say everybody else that ain't with them are snitches for the police. Well, they're actually snitches for the other police that they don't regard themselves as police. They want to be, the snitches for the local badasses, the local drug dealing badasses, will pull the shit that, oh yeah, you're probably a snitch for the police because you don't lick the boots of the local badasses, and your own sense of self-esteem and sovereignty is offensive to them, and it's punishable by getting beat up or shot. A mentality that's no different or better than the police that they accuse of brutality, or you'll get shot or whatever. Yeah, it's only wrong if the police do it, but if the local drug dealing badasses do it, they're totally fine with it. And these people are human farmers. They want to farm you. They want to harvest you. Anybody with any sense of self-esteem that wants to do things their own way or do their own thing, can't have that. And they'd like to intimidate you out of that. If you're in a certain neighborhood, and make it clear to you in so many words that what can happen to you or whatever if you don't go with their ways. In some smaller towns, the good news is that they're trying to intimidate and scare you. They ain't nothing. They're just a pseudo gang. But unfortunately, you've got the bigger cities where that shit is grown in number. And the police know about it, and they actually, some of them are feeding it. Yeah, anybody that they arrest for drugs, it's just a damn show, you know what I mean? Some stupid asshole that drives around in a BMW or Mercedes or whatever the fuck, and has gold rings and gold chains all over them, would be glad to take all your money. And the last thing that they want to see is if you have your own sense of sovereignty and self-esteem, and that sense of those things don't come from them. They want it to, they'll let you have a version of it only if it involves like you doing all these drugs and buying all their drugs, and a sense of fake self-esteem comes from, I got the gangsters somewhere that got my back. I'm Mr. Badass, and as long as you're licking the boots and kissing the gold ring of the local badasses and pseudo gangs, the ones that ain't even, some of them in some neighborhoods that ain't even really gangs. You got the gangs in the cities, but then you got the smaller groups that sell their drugs. You give these people these fake sense of belonging, and if you don't go for that, you'll get harassed. And if you have any of your own sense of self-esteem that ain't attached to that culture, you'll become a target. That's the last thing they want, is having your own sense of self-esteem and your own sense of self-awareness, and which we call personal sovereignty. And thus they create that Wikipedia definition that you see there, which only has one meaning, which they want to make you think only has one definition, their definition, which they want to slightly criminalize your sense of sovereignty. Let me say that again. They want to criminalize your sense of sovereignty and self-esteem, and they'll give you a shitty meaning out there that they legitimize and associate a term with criminal activity, while in the shadows encourage you to engage in criminal activity. There's things interlaced in there that they don't want you to know, and but anyway, I said in that previous video, I just went ahead and made the video into that explanation of what they're doing with words and definitions. But anyway, this one I meant to talk about drug use, and it dovetails into that information that they don't want you to know. I mean, not bashing anybody, every single person on the planet that smokes a cigarette or smoke the sweet leaf, the Black Sabbath sweet leaf once in a while, or listens to Led Zeppelin, an old classic Black Sabbath, or drinks a beer once in a while. This is not the issue. And these people would like you to not talk about this shit too, whether you drink or smoke or not, They want you to be afraid that everybody that smokes a cigarette, drinks a beer once in a while will be offended, and they want to encourage them to be offended. And by the way, it dovetails into the reverse psychology. People talk about the war on drugs. There's different sides on it. Actually, the president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, in a little video, which I can even show you a clip too, actually said we had a war on drugs. The people that created the war on drugs are the biggest purveyors of drugs. People are on different sides of that. And my idea of anybody not using drugs, Big Pharma is in here too. The reverse psychology, they'll legalize one thing, it will, and illegalize something else. And when they finally decide to legalize something, like when they're legalizing marijuana now at their choice, and they want to ease into legalizing all kind of other stuff, and they're creating a former governor of this state was literally it shows his true colors of what he really is, fighting for the right. I haven't followed up on it and see if there was any other new developments on it, but he was defending his position on, he created injection centers where people could come and shoot up heroin, which I regard that as very dangerous, because any addict who wants to, especially women and girls, I'm not excluding dudes in this, but women and girls especially, that they want to farm you. With drugs, they want to farm you. That's what it is. And with women and girls, say you have some daughter somewhere that wants to be a high school cheerleader or something, even though I wasn't in with the jocks and the cheerleaders or whatever, but when I'm older, say if you have even if your daughter isn't a cheerleader or whatever, wants to get an education and do things the right way, but doesn't have the perfect self-esteem, ain't the most popular in school, the most dangerous thing you got out there is you have some daughter or even son, there's these injection centers that some former governor of our state is defending. What's to stop them from befriending your daughter or son in school? Oh yeah, come with me, I go to this injection center and we'll take all your, you can make all your troubles just disappear or pretend they're not happen. Hide in the drugs, which the far left is actually defending. And you speak anything against them, matter of fact, if you never did any or whatever, or you don't want to do any, they'll attack you. Oh, you think you're so innocent, or you think you, or say you have no empathy, they'll throw everything at you. They'll take the addicts or ex-addicts that actually changed their lives and make you afraid of offending them, because a lot of your ex-addicts, hey, my cousin, I think was one that actually died, and he didn't give a fuck about anybody else. He didn't want to change. I don't want to go on about that later. I don't give a fuck. Matter of fact, he would do shit at the expense of everybody. Anybody he was around at will. You got them kinds out there that don't want to change, and I'd do another video where he's concerned about a type of identity theft that doesn't. I'd say in a separate video about identity theft, how it's not always about money. It is, but if they don't do things to obtain money, they'll use your identity. They want to take you down with them, but that's a whole other story. But if you got this far in this video, in this ramble, it's reverse psychology. Say they want to get you to rebel against, oh yeah, the police, the rule of law, which say you don't like the police anyway. They want you to say F the police, but do all the drugs we want. But yet, they're the person that you're giving your money to and being dependent on these drugs and want to get high, and caters to your hatred for any rule of law or authority, which maybe you have some legit hatreds, capitalize on that, and you're raising your fist in the air, maybe in some protest culture. You're giving your money to people so they can drive around in some fancy cars, BMWs or whatever, and gold chains and gold rings, and you buying your drugs for them like you're damn near, in so many cases, almost literally, along with metaphorically, they expect you to kiss their ring. You think you're got all this freedom, and then they teach you to ridicule anybody else that don't want to get high or whatever the hell. You're a nerd if you don't. And then they teach you, okay, you want to do drugs. Anybody that don't like your drugs, and they think they're high and mighty, so it's okay to burglarize and rob your family members or neighbors. And, oh yeah, teach you that you got the whole world by the balls. Even people that don't even do illegal drugs, that some of them that go to loser bars and drink and smoke and take pills in moderation, some of them keep to themselves, and some of them have this attitude. They'll be nice to your face. They're nice to your face, but yet they have a seething mind. Yeah, that reverse meaning of sovereign citizen. You get all the crackheads that are misusing that term, but the real meaning of having your personal self-esteem and sovereignty would be stay away from that, because I think there was a friend of mine that was an ex-addict or whatever, alcoholic. For whatever reasons, he just got tired of the damn crowds and the bullshit. When I told him versions of this stuff, he said it was like, remember the Bob Dylan song, which Judy Collins did a cover of Bob Dylan's song. She sang the song too, but his interpretation of what I was saying is, well, that Bob Dylan song, you're going to serve somebody one way or another, maybe God, maybe the devil, but you're going to serve somebody. Same thing. Yeah, you don't like the police, the general rule of law, if you have a problem with police, but you're going to suck up to a drug culture so they can drive a BMW and wear gold chains and all kind of shit. And you got to play by their rules and obey them, or else, yeah, they'll do the same brutality. They got guns too. They'll do the same thing to you that you bitch about the police doing. Police brutality. Yeah, police brutality this, I'm trying not to laugh. Yeah, police brutality this, police brutality that. And meanwhile, okay, yeah, you'll rebel against that and lick the boots and kiss the ring of the people that'll do the same brutality, who also got guns that'll shoot you or have you beat up. Whether black or white, they'll say, oh, that we'll smoke your ass if you don't do what you're told. And the same people that say, oh yeah, snitches for the police this, snitches for the police that, snitches get stitches. But yeah, you have snitches for that drug culture too. The other people that I always repeatedly say in videos that don't like the police, but you want the local badasses and the local drug dealing badasses and pseudo gangs and groups like that to be your police. Yeah, don't like the police, but yet protest culture is part of that. They want legalization of all drugs. They want to do intimidation marches like they did in 2020. Yeah, what the fuck sense does that make? Yeah, you don't like the police, but yet you want the local badasses and their buddies and what have you to be the police. And then instead of calling the cops, you go be a snitch for the local badasses. Oh, he said this and that. He want, and then have them beat. Oh yeah, you're glad to be a. What's the difference between being a snitch for the police, which some of the police that arrest people, they have stake in the drugs, certain groups. That's a whole. You can ramble on and on about that. It's big business. They let them loose. They put them in the rehabs. You can't keep even the drugs out of the rehab places, because the rehabs are nothing but, you can almost argue they're recruiting centers, not rehabbing anybody. And you can't even keep the drugs out of these so-called rehab places. Big business. A day's work for the for the corrupt police. So yeah, you got that. Yeah, that's the only reason. Yeah. Reverse psychology. Oh yeah, you want to be against this war on drugs. Yeah, there's ulterior motives for that. And just to talk about it, it can sound so damn convoluted, but that's the way they want it. It's reverse psychology. And look how, yeah, they want to legalize this or that, like marijuana, but they were talking about not making menthol cigarettes illegal, which menthol cigarettes are not fucking. They're addictive in a way. Tobacco is addictive. Yeah, we all know that they were putting stuff in tobacco products to make them addictive. And they were trying to come down, attorney generals are trying to come down on the vaping things now because people are going to the hospital for that. But anyway, yeah, menthol cigarettes were legal. Actually, quite frankly, not to bash my mother in here, but to be fair, I had people like my mother, for example, won't smoke Marlboros or any kind of thing like that, won't smoke Winstons or Camels. It had to be the Salem Slim Lights 100s. There was a case where, yeah, those people are putting stuff in that to make it addictive. But yet it's still legal, but you want to legalize a narcotic, which you could still get busted, just like for drinking beer behind the wheel. You get legalized marijuana, you can get busted for driving under the influence of that too. There's still laws. You get pulled over and you're high or stoned from anything. Well, actually, just like having a cell phone behind the wheel, there's certain people that you can have relatives, yeah, they're so worried about their cigarette, they're not worrying about what the fuck they're doing while they're driving. So there's room for rambles about that too, but I'll keep that to a minimum right now. But reverse psychology, make something against the law, and then you have your legalized antidepressant drugs every time somebody has hurt feelings or problems in life, which, yeah, to sell all your antidepressant drugs on psychotropics, you get a small amount of people who are better off on them, say if it's going to cause you to commit some kind of thing, or whatever. But they want to squeeze you in life, everything from work to if you're young in school. You wonder who's behind that. You could be called a conspiracy theorist too. Use that video that they were trying to ban on YouTube, the story of your enslavement, you know what I mean? Squeeze you to a point where, yeah, they want to sell you these miracle drugs like psychotropics or whatever, and make it so easy to get your doctor to prescribe them. But look how many people look who's involved in government that want to squeeze you in your jobs from the top down, everything from taxes to job regulations, get you squeezed by your boss. Yeah, they want to do that, create more problems for you, and I think wear you down, where, okay, you want these psychotropics because they're their miracle cure, so you go around like a zombie and sit down and take people's shit, when it ain't really the drugs you need. It's actually, oh yeah, they'll say you're schizoid and you need to be on schizoid meds too. If you try to say, oh, maybe it's these bunch of people down there that are trying to squeeze you, bunch of people up here and down there, excuse me, I'm just trying to cut the rambling short. But if you recognize a lot of people that could be deliberately trying to squeeze you, even ones that ain't in the government, that's by design. Keep you from tracing the source. Say you don't want to totally blame the government, but there's people on different levels, in different groups. They want to harvest you. You're like cattle. And if you find out the truth, maybe you're the cattle, you're the pig, the sheep, the cow that maybe needs to be put down because you know too much, and you are questioning all that. Gaslight you with, oh yeah, you don't want to take meds, you're a schizoid or you're a conspiracy theorist. But even if you don't criticize it, say if you don't criticize it, you don't go to in any video, you don't say it anywhere in public, you just ignore it, you do your own thing, that doesn't keep you from being harassed, because they know how you're walking around, either with a cocky look on your face or just ignoring it. Yeah, you'll get harassed, you'll get gaslighted, they'll try to give you a hard time or whatever. But anyway, yeah, the key to identifying as maybe a better sovereign citizen, unlike that definition that they put on Wikipedia with that they're using to gaslight people, okay? Yeah, they're harvesting you. And the key to identifying as a sovereign citizen, aka the right way, keeping your self-respect and your self-esteem, which in keeping your self-esteem and self-respect, you're separating yourself from them drugs. You're not going to do no drugs so some asshole can drive around in a BMW or wear gold chains. You know, you got your own self-esteem. They don't like you. You know, that's just the way that is.